League lovers, welcome to the Game Plan. I'm Zach Bailey, joined by Anthony Seibold. Now, Seibs, we hear in rugby league circles a lot these days, eyes up footy, but is this eyes down footy? Surely if I'm a player and I play eyes down footy, I'm getting hooked by the catch.
Yeah, well, it's actually a criticism of the modern game. You know, people talk about structured football, that the NRL is too structured these days. Eyes up football is principle-based football. So what we coach the players is to have a look at visual cues. And one of the cues are, for instance, a dummy half, as he approaches to play the ball, has a look to see if there's a defender left on the floor.
All right on cue. Let's look at Damien Cook and how he exploits defenders laying around the ruck.
Yeah, Damien Cook, one of the best in the business. This is from last year's final series against Newcastle Knights. As Cookie comes into to play the ball, he will scan to see if the third man's reloading late, but also if someone's left on the floor. As we play the clip through, Cook has identified Mitch Barnett. There's Barnett, slow back to the line. Cook, smart player, takes advantage of that. Now, that's the player left on the floor here, Mitch Barnett, who was on the late reload. Great vision, or eyes up football by Cook, but even better push support by Cameron Murray. South Sydney Rabbitohs under the sticks.
And that's how they score so many of their points in the past.
Yeah, definitely. Damien Cook identifying a man down on the floor, and/or markers really tight, and/or the third man back late.
All right, so if he's not the best at that aspect of the game, then Abby Coruscant has got to be close.
Yeah, Coruscant, great dummy half player for the Penrith Panthers. This is an example from last year. You'll see here, as Coruscant comes in to play the ball, there's a man left on the floor. The number 17 for the Rabbitohs is left on the floor. Coruscant looks to see if there's any defenders, as I said before, back late or left on the floor. So we call that man down. His cue is to run. Now, with the man down on the floor, he's out of play. So again, you'll see the number 17 for the Bunnies not back in the line, creates instability in the line there, and Nathan Cleary, good enough to exploit that.
Okay, so when do you see players do that? Is it always early in the tackle count, or they purely look for those two cues?
Yeah, looking for cues, and you encourage your dummy halves to be decisive. If they see a man down, you go. You might have your principle-based football set or your structure set on the long side, but if you see that there, let's bang down the front door first.
All right, so from a hooker looking to exploit the ruck area to a playmaker, or again a hooker looking to exploit a short side.
Yeah, so it's really interesting. What teams will try and do is get 4 in defenders, which are edge-back rowers, or 3 in defenders, which are halfbacks, into a tackle. So a really good example here. You'll see the Melbourne Storm against the Raiders from last year. And as I play it through, there's a couple of things I want you to have a look at. I'll just take that back a little bit. Cameron Smith, one of the best in the game. He's identified that there's only 3 defenders on a short side for the Canberra Raiders. So you'll see them here. 1, 2, and we play it through. There's the third defender. Okay. As we go back, Pappenhausen does a really good job. Pappenhausen's cue is to be flat. So if Cameron Smith jumps, he takes out the marker. I'll play it through here again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, Melbourne Storm attackers versus 1, 2, 3, Canberra Raiders defenders.
All right, and a half break. Luckily, Joe Croker hangs on to Suliasi Vunivalu there. But you see this all the time. Almost every game, you see a team trying to get a 4 on a 3 or a 3 on a 2 down a short side.
Yeah, this is probably a better example. Now, this is South Sydney Rabbitohs. Adam Reynolds and Cody Walker do this just about as good as anyone in the competition. So this is, again, from last year's final series. And there's a couple of things I want to point out. The first one is this. Number 6 there for Parramatta, Mitch Moses, and number 19, Brad Takarangi for the Parramatta Eels is the centre. So a 3 in defender, a 2 in defender. You'll see Adam Reynolds. He's got great vision. Fantastic vision there. There's Reynolds coming around the corner. There's Corey Allen coming around the corner. Now, what they identify is this player here. It's Junior Paulo. Because a 2 in defender and a 3 in defender in the tackle, big men have to reload from the long side, and big men don't like to travel. So, again, great recognition by Adam Reynolds. Now there's 1, 2, 3, 4 South Sydney attackers versus 1, 2, 3 Parramatta defenders.
Is that a halfback's dream?
That's a halfback stream.
Adam Reynolds up against Junior Paulo down a short side.
Yeah, so when we talk about eyes up football, as soon as you get the 4 in defender or the 3 in defender in the tackle, it's even better if you get the 2 in defender in the tackle. You always look up short sides first, because often you'll have a mathematical advantage.
Okay, if we play this clip out, this is what the result of playing good, smart eyes up footy is all about.
Yeah, as I said, the Rabbitohs do it as good as anyone in the competition. You would have seen with Cody Walker over the Charity Shield game as well, just looking down short sides. It's brilliant play by Reynolds, great play by Corey Allen. Almost finished off. It's great desperate defence by, that's Dylan Brown.
Yeah, Dylan Brown saving the day. All right, so that's short sides, that's around the ruck we've sorted. What about when teams want to shift wide early in the tackle count from even in their own end?
Yeah, so one of the cues to look at is the 4 in defender, which is the edge back row. So generally speaking, they wear the number 12 and the number 11. So I want to show you a couple of examples. So this is the Roosters playing against the Raiders from last year. Now, the player they're looking at is this player here, okay? That's Bateman, defending as a back rower, four-in defender last year. Now, Roosters are good enough to take advantage of this, but I want to go to the next bit of vision. This shows it perfectly. I'll let it play here. I want to spotlight the number 11. As I go through, this here is the near post. Coaches, we talk about the edge back rower in an ideal world being on the outside post. If he's near the near post, that defender, there's only 3 defenders outside him. You let it play here. Keary, he's good enough to identify that. There's 3 defenders marking over half the field. Great job by Morris. Great support by Keary. Through the middle of the park is Tedesco. That's fantastic vision. That's eyes up football.
Keary, Morris, Tedesco. How good are they?
Yeah, brilliant. And all they've done there is identify how narrow Bateman is there as a four-in defender.
And the Raiders exploited again by another team.
Yeah, okay. So this is another example. Melbourne Storm last year. And you'll see on the end on, there's a couple of things here. Again, what they've tried to do is they've identified the width, okay, of Bateman as a four-in defender. Now, this is him here. As I said before, if that's Bateman, there's only 3 defenders, 1, 2 and 3, marking almost half the field. So again, look at Munster, look at Pappenhausen.
So you've already got 1, 2, 3, 4 Melbourne players?
Yes. And have a look who's on the end.
Can't forget about the Fox. Where's he going?
He's going straight down the field. So let this play out. But all, again, they've done is identify the width, okay, of the edge back rower, which is the number 12 or number 11 in most teams. And if he's narrow, then you're going to play full version.
All right, so if I'm watching at home and I don't see that wide view, who's making the call to exploit that edge back rower on the right? Is it Cam Smith around the ruck? Is it the 5'8" out wide? Is it Josh Adokar going, hey, get me the ball and get it to me fast?
Really interesting. Watching Newcastle play Melbourne Storm on the weekend, the biggest thing I could take from that game was Adokar's talk. He was identifying the width of the back rows, the depth of the wingers. He was talking to Munster. He was talking to Jerome Hughes all day long. He was actually communicating that. So I would have thought that Adokar's communicating to Munster. Edge back row is really narrow there. There's only 3 defenders, and there was a centre marking almost 15, 20 metres there. That's bread and butter for Adokar.
Okay, so you've got a front rower taking it up onto Munster, a shift there from Pappenhausen, onto the back rower, who then hooks up with the Fox inside. Great support play from Pappenhausen.
Yeah, again, eyes up football. Identify the edge back row being narrow, play the full version, Adokar down the field, Pappenhausen, fantastic support.
Okay, so that's 3 examples. Let's look at a 4th example of eyes up footy. Jerome Luai had a great year for the Panthers last year. And we've seen a trend where we have fullbacks in the defensive line to create an extra number in that line, but great example here of where that is exploited. Yeah,
so most teams in the competition now will defend their fullback in the front line, particularly for the early tackles when they're defending inside their 20-metre zone. So great vision, as you say. Here it is. I want to point out Tedesco. There he is. So there's nobody covering this area of the field in behind there. Fantastic vision by the Panthers, number 6.
Puts it on the toe. Try time out at Panthers Stadium in a semi-final.
And that's eyes up football. That is eyes up football.
And a big play, but it looks so simple when you break it down like that. Another example of when a defender has been caught in the line, the fullback. Yeah,
so during the week you do your homework on where fullbacks defend. They would have seen last year that Corey Allen defends a lot for South Sydney on a short side. There's Corey Allen there as we play it through. Now, that's the last play. So if that's Corey Allen there is so much space in behind here. And as you can see, you talk about eyes up football from Cleary. Dinks the ball into that space. Tyrone May, the 14 for Penrith Panthers, charges through. It's a try untouched underneath the sticks.
So if Corey Allen isn't caught on the short side there, he would be there in between that, I guess, the dead man zone or that no man's land between the centre and where they call the ball Tyrone May.
Yeah, definitely. Tackle 5 there. We talk about our fullback having Kelpie dog speed. So imagine a little dog running there, covering the kicks. That's what you would normally want from Corey Allen. He got stuck on a short side. Great vision or great eyes up football by Cleary, and May finishes it off. All
right, Seibs, as always, great analysis. If you didn't know what eyes up footy was before today, you most certainly would now.